Good evening. It's been a while since I made a video, and the reason for that is that I moved to the United States. And the first month of moving here, my dad came with me to help me out because I have two cats, a white one and a black one, and it was a hassle getting them here. So I really needed my dad's help. So I was like showing my dad around over here a little bit, places I've been to and things like that, trying to get him a bit in the Halloween spirit, stuff like that. But it was February, so there wasn't much to do. But one thing we did do is we went to the mountains, specifically the ice castles in New Hampshire, which is something I've always wanted to see. But in the past, I would always leave on my trips before the ice castles were there because it's in the middle of February. It needs to be really, really cold for that. And trust me, it was really, really cold for that. But so on the trip there, we saw some other things too. So this vlog, I kind of want to show you the ice castles. But first, I want to show you this incredible Halloween store that we discovered in the middle of the mountains. So we did a bunch of stuff when we were out there in New Hampshire. A lot of stuff wasn't super interesting. We did like a scenic railway thing, which was an absolute scam. It was such a ripoff. And we went to the ice castles. But on the way there, you're traveling through the mountains. And that's something I love. I just really love nature and mountain specific. I like this kind of thing. I don't know if it has a word. I like to call it just scaling. I like it when something small is standing in front of something very big. So I like the mountains. And so we were driving through the mountains because specifically we went to a gondola ride up the mountains. I thought it was through the mountains. This was another kind of scam because basically you're paying a shit ton of money just to go up a ski lift and back down again. Realistically, that's what it was. But the trip there was just absolutely amazing. You had the mountains everywhere, all around you. And while we were driving up the mountains, we saw this shop. This shop that was half ice cream parlor, half Halloween store. I didn't know exactly what it was, but my girlfriend, she had been there before. She's like, oh, it's a really cool store. You got like ice cream parlor on one side and they have all this Halloween stuff on the other side. And I was like, that is so strange to me. So you have a store that is always Halloween in the middle of the mountains. It was so out of nowhere. Now, I started understanding it more because the further we went on a trip, the more you could tell it was a pretty big tourist destination, the area in general. But so yeah, we went into this Halloween store and it was kind of cool. It was really cool. You had this big gate with all these kind of statues around it that you walk through. When you walk through the gates, you had everything you could think of when it comes. You had globes, like Halloween globe. You had spooky statues. You had actual mannequins that were moving around. You had like just Halloween costumes and clothing and anything. There was anything there. It was just really cool to see. There was little lights and everything, and you really stepped into a Halloween universe in the mountains. It wasn't like like you go to, I don't know, Michael's or something, you have some Halloween decoration. It's like you stepped kind of a little bit in a small haunted house. They had some awesome stuff. Fortunately, when I went there, it was pretty calm, which allowed me to capture a lot of footage without a lot of people on there because it was kind of cramped. It wasn't a massive place, but it was absolutely amazing to see. After that, we went to the ice castles. And I always wanted to see ice castles. It was not what I was expecting. In my mind, you're seeing castles made of ice. But so what it ended up being is, they say it's different each year. My girlfriend was like, it was pretty similar. But it's kind of like caves. They have caves with stalactites. They built thrones of ice. They built stuff of ice. And it was really cool. They have like slides made of ice and everything is like lit up because we went at night and you have the lights everywhere for it built into the ice, mold like carved into the ice. So everything was lighting up in different ways. Everywhere you walked, there were caves and pathways. Certain things were built out of blocks of ice and you could walk over the walls. It was absolutely amazing. Now, again, it was really, really cold. So my dad has something called Raynaud's, and that affects specifically his hands. Like the slightest cold will already turns his hand blue. And it was, I want to say 20 degrees. I want to say it was even less than that. I don't remember exactly. But so we specifically bought hand warmers for him to put inside his gloves. And that was kind of helping, but after a few hours, we were like, yeah, okay, we're done here. It is just brutal. You're in ice everywhere. You're sliding over the ice. You're walking in the ice. It's really cold. You're pretty high up in the mountains, kind of to go there. And I know, but it was an amazing time. I really liked the variety. They had like horse carriage rides you could do, which was pretty fun too. And they had, you could buy stuff to drink and to eat and that kind of stuff. They had another thing, which was a walking tour through the forest, which I would have liked to do. But again, at that point, it was the end of the evening. You're just freezing cold. Nothing is really warming you up again. At that point, it was literally coming through my shoes. How cold. My feet starting to freeze and everything. We're like, we can't do, because it was like a mile, several miles the hike, and they had like lights and everything. I took some footage of it, so like I said, it seemed cool, but at that point it's like, nah, we gotta get out of here. But so yeah, that was kind of my trip, having Halloween in the mountains. I enjoyed the ice castles a lot. I wouldn't mind going again in the future because it was really cool, and it was just, I had like a bodysuit on, like what do you call, like a long john, like a bodysuit pajama and everything under my clothes still, and I had the gloves and the hat, but it still wasn't enough. I'm not used to the cold being that cold. I'm from the Netherlands. Back in the day, we often would get like 15, 20-degree weather. But the last 20 years I've been living in France, and you don't get that kind of cold over there. So it was kind of like a shock with how cold it actually was. I was fine in the beginning, but again, the later it gets, the colder it gets. Even though we could have used more time, probably, by the time we were leaving, everybody was already leaving. It was starting to die out. So we did as much as we could. We saw everything except for the hike. And again, the Halloween store was literally, it was just so weird to find that in the middle of the mountains. I really enjoyed that. And overall, we had a good time. My dad left by now a while ago already, so I'm settling in to my American life over here. But you can definitely expect more cool videos, Halloween related. Because at this point, I'm always here. I can celebrate Halloween to the fullest, which I've only celebrated a few Halloween once or twice here. And it wasn't, you don't get to enjoy everything of it. I think specifically on Halloween, I've been here only once. So I'm looking forward to a lot more Halloween celebrations, Halloween hunting, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of like dark fairs I'll be going to, a lot of creepy locations. I'm really looking forward to just exploring all the creepiness around me in the area and beyond. Hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit different. I want to do more of these travel vlogs, having them be related to my channel. And there's a lot more content coming. I've pre-recorded some videos that I still have to edit at this point, and there's more videos coming, so don't worry. Like, I'm back now making content, and I just feel good being able to make videos again. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more of what I have to offer on this little dark corner of the internet. And as always, be kind to one another, even in the dark.